Well, supposedly there's some stills from the new Thor movie with Natalie Portman looking rather buff.
Yeah.
From what I understand, from what I can see.
Getting ripped, bro. Drinking some whey.
Hey, man. She got to throw the hammer, baby.
Padme's doing the choking now.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, whoa, good. Glad we didn't have that on if we didn't tape that. Okay.
Whoops, am I recording?
No. Or did we record that? Either way.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome back. It's Squares Roundtable Podcast, episode 138. And here we are once again. We're happy to have you with us. With me is Jeff.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm Mike. Ivan is absent this week. We hope he'll be back next week. Shout out to our buddy Ivan. He'll be back. And I'm missing my buddy Ivan. This week is our 25th anniversary of our first radio show together.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah, 25 years. Well, we met. I don't even remember the day we met. It was like we were both working at the station. He worked the morning shift. I worked the afternoon shift. And I started showing up because I always showed up early for my radio gig because I really cared about my radio gig. I had a strong work ethic towards my radio job. Not any other job I'd have in my life. But anyway, I started showing up early, and I started finding out that Ivan was Poe. Not poor, but just Poe. He couldn't afford the OR. So I started bringing the extra. I started buying extra cheeseburgers in the drive-thru and bringing them to him. So then Ivan would often opine about our friendship started with a cheeseburger because I'd bring him extra cheeseburgers to eat before, so then he could have something to eat that day. Cheeseburger. 2 Pepsi, 2 chip. And that was also the 39th anniversary this week of John Belushi.
Is it this week? Wow.
Yes, it was like March, I forget, it was March 7th or March 8th, I forget. But, yeah, he's been 39 years now he'd been gone. I remember hearing about that when that news broke in school. And we got around that he said he swallowed his own tongue, and I didn't, I was a dumb kid. I didn't know any better. For a while, I knew that's what I thought. But
I can't remember who was with him. I know Robin Williams was there.
No,
I know Robin Williams was there when the overdose happened.
The party the night before. He was with Robin Williams.
Right, and I think Richard Belzer was there, too.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm trying to remember, and don't quote me on these things, because Robin Williams, I know for a fact, was there. Because I know that it devastated Robin Williams.
He had to go to court or something. Like there was a hearing or something he had to attend, informality of an events that led to his death.
I just remember. I know that when that was somebody where it was like that kind of God. I really think about this. Think about this. We never actually got around to. Could you imagine if we'd ever gotten a movie with Robin Williams and John Belushi?
Well,
God.
That might have been epic. Might have been like Caddyshack times 2.
Right, or it could have been like horrible, but
could have been like Neighbors. Like everyone's like, yeah, Blues Brothers, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, and then he did Neighbors. I'm like, ooh, yeesh, that was a hard pill to swallow.
And yet, people still will watch Neighbors because it's
it's John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but it wasn't there. It was kind of artsy fartsy. It was off the beaten path to be sure. Anyway, so getting back to Ivan, I can't remember the day we met, but that was the day. I said, okay, well, you're on the.
Was he wearing a shirt?
Yes, he was wearing. He was always wearing a shirt. At least in the mornings, I would arrive and he'd be asleep on the floor. He was always shirted. He was always clothed. But March 10th, Chuck Norris's birthday, that was the day I decided, okay, I'll come in early and I'll sit with Ivan. And it was the first of many. Oh, yes, I'm getting verklempt. But anyway, it was great. And we hope to have Ivan, because Ivan talked about last week he was going to have some sound bites from some of our old air checks and some of our bits that we recorded just for funsies, because he got a cart machine working that used to belong to one of our brokers. So maybe we'll have him next week. So hope you feel better.
It's really funny. When VVX was in the process of like getting all their new equipment and moving, Ivan walked away with enough to build his own studio at one point.
He took a lot of gear.
I mean, he's got unless he, and what am I saying? It's Ivan. I was going to say, unless he got rid of it, which he didn't.
Yeah, he might have fixed it up and sold it. Who knows?
I don't know. There's a part of me where I kind of laugh because it's like when we're doing the show sometimes, and it's like Ivan's like, well, I'd like to add sound and stuff, and I'm like, all you gotta do is take your board and then figure out a way to like pot it into your phone, and voila,
right. Mm-hmm.
But and there are ways to do that stuff. I'm not as handy enough, but I just kind of laugh in that regard because I'm
we've all got smartphones now, but I don't believe Ivan has ever owned a computer.
That's probably true. That's probably true. I mean, I don't.
I barely know how to turn this on, so I'm not knocking him in that regard. But
yeah, well,
all I know is the mother of his daughter owned computers and used that. Mm-hmm. So okay. So anyway,
he doesn't even know how to play solitaire. What the hell?
Hey man, that Minesweeper was quite confusing for me. And that pinball.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my first computer back in '97. I had Windows 3.1 on it.
Oh my god!
I had to update it to Windows 95.
I had a 2E in the '80s.
Wow.
I had a 2E, and it was funny because I was like, oh, maybe like I had it like decades later, and it was funny. I'm like, I had a buddy of mine. I'm like, wow, maybe like a museum wants it or something. It's like, no, the Museum of History of Computers is looking for computers for donation purposes for that, except for Apple IIes, because like everyone has one, and they're like, nope, we got plenty.
Everyone was happy to get rid of theirs, huh?
Well, at one point, I mean, it was, I do kind of laugh because it's like back in the 80s, you had IBMs at work, but really in reality, Apple was the personal home computer. I mean, that's who brought computers to your home.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily IBM. IBM then followed suit. And then, then Apple kind of, went their direction with Macintosh and, and then it became it depends on what you're doing with it versus what they're doing with it. And, then where we are today, which is, you're either with us or against us kind of thing with Apple and all this stuff.
Yeah, either Mac or PC.
Yeah, well, it's not, and then it's now Android or iPhone or whatever. The rest of the world versus iPhone, which I laugh about because they're all bemoaning why they can't get on the Clubhouse app, and I'm like, it's like.
Suck it, Apple. Suck it, iPhones. Or what?
Not iPhones.
The Samsung or
suck it all
Androids.
The rest of you.
Android, yeah.
Yeah, suck it all the rest of you. I'm
right.
on it. Haha, you're not. But yeah. God,
well, it's not. Well, the first internet-capable computer was the first I got in '97, but I did in the early '80s own a Commodore VIC-20. And that thing was it was for play. It was hardly computing at that day and age.
Yeah, really.
I mean, they had game cartridges, but there's some games I had on cassette. So I had to put into a cassette player and wait for it to play it and read it and load it, which took several minutes.
God.
And sometimes it wouldn't play right, so.
Oh, man. No, it's...
We've come a long way, baby.
Yeah,
Wake up.
Ugly.
Have some coffee.
No, that's all right. I don't need no coffee. Yeah, no, like I said, so wow, 25 years. Wow, I've been sitting here trying to do the math. 25 years would be what?
96.
96? Okay.
Yeah, because I started at the WEEF in August of 95.
Mm-hmm.
And Ivan showed up. I think maybe it was just after New Year's. The first time I saw Ivan, he was in a cast because he had broke his leg over New Year's. He broke his ankle, I think.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I could tell you that whole story. I think he has, about how he broke his ankle. He was on the way. He walked all the way home from the train station. He got on a train. He walked all the way home, and then he made it to the station. And he was in excruciating pain. And then family members came and picked him up, and they said, "Yeah, that's broken." So he had to cut open his new pants or something like that. So anyway, first time I saw Ivan was like in January, and then like in March. Then March 10th, we had our first show, and that was it. The rest is history. And here we are. Mm-hmm. So here we are. Here you are. So let's see what we got. I didn't do much this week for me personally. It was another weekend where I had to work. We had another food truck at the store. That was cool. We had donuts. And they have the donut trucks, plus the Girl Scout cookies have been pushing. They got some little card tables set up in places around town.
Do they really?
Yeah, they're starting to start that hustle.
Are they?
Yep.
I am trying to avoid my dealer.
They'll find you. Don't worry.
No, they will not. No, they will not.
Unless they go door to door. Well.
Yeah, they got to get inside. Well, unless there's somebody who's going to let one in, that's not happening.
Between the Girl Scouts and the food trucks, I've been trying to keep my little Lent semi-diet going, and it's been okay.
What did you give up, by the way, for Lent?
Just Pepsi, mostly, and just been smaller portions. But I have been losing weight. I'm fitting into pants I didn't 2 weeks ago.
Is that one of those where you could be like, I gave up Pepsi, but I'll drink Coke because I said I'm
No. I gave up Pepsi because it's my vice. I don't like. No, I'll drink Coke, but I'm not really big.
Mm-hmm.
Fan.
So
but
what happens if you drink Coke? During Lent.
It's bad.
Well, no, during Lent.
I don't know if God will smite me right then and there. I don't know. I don't want to find out.
I mean, because in fairness, you only said you're giving up Pepsi.
Yeah. Because I have those little mini cans that are like 7.5 ounces, only like 90 calories. I'll have one of those with dinner every day, and it's 7-Up.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, so it's clear and it's better for you than the other ones. They're no caffeine. That was one thing I gave up was caffeine. That's in Pepsi, and whew, yeah, I had a headache for 2 days when I quit initially. So, yeah, I've been doing good with my diet. And
that's good.
We'll watch, I did watch, obviously, we'll talk about the WandaVision finale and sequel to Coming to America that's free on Amazon. We'll talk about that because I got my free trial. I didn't watch the Superman and Lois yet, episode 2. I didn't watch that yet.
Okay. I did, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Well, what are your thoughts on it?
I am going to continue to let things play out.
All right. You're still in? Okay.
I'm still in. At the same time, it's okay. I think the biggest thing that I would have an issue with Superman and Lois is it feels at times... The best way to put it is Superman to me as a character is a character who inspires and is a hopeful character. And that's not to say that he's not, but there's this feeling within the show where at times it's like it just doesn't feel as hopeful or as inspiring as I would like it to be. And I don't put that on the actors. I put it on how it's being written. Yeah,
and the fact that we saw this little prologue from episode 1 that he arrived at the planet in Metropolis, has his Kansas upbringing, and he's been Superman for a long time. And he's balancing his kids, his wife, and saving the world. You think he'd gotten pretty good at it by now? Well,
I mean, here's the thing. I'm okay with he's having trouble with being a dad and trying to balance some of these things. At the same time, there's just a feeling when I'm watching it that I'm getting a little bit of where it's like I get the impression that they want this feeling of us to kind of sit there and be like, they're just like us, they're just like everybody in America right now, and they're like a normal family, and that's great. But at the end of the day, he's Superman.
Yeah, you don't want a morose Clark Kent. You want the positivity. You want the Boy Scout. Maybe a little bit of naivete.
Right. I want, and I feel like, and the funny part is, it's there, but the problem is when it's there, it's, I don't know how to, I don't want to go down this road when I say this, but this is the only answer I can get. It's that CW angst.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because it's like a lot of the other CW superhero shows don't do the angst as much, but it's on this one. And, and I think part of it is because of the fact that you've got the kids and you're going to go down that road with those kids. And that fits into your CW demographic, your usual CW demographic, okay, where they're trying to kind of make it, I hate to say it, I feel like they're trying to make this a show that your whole, and in fairness, they did say this, they're trying to kind of make it a family show where your family could sit down all together and watch this show. And there's a part of me that enjoys that. There's a part of me because of that we lose some things. We lose some flavor that I'm not sure I like.
But you're still in, so that's good.
But I'm still in. I'm still willing to watch. I think there's enough there that makes me want to watch. There's enough that makes me want to watch and keep watching. Whereas, like, for example, like I said, I ended Batwoman. There's a part of me where I'm like, The Flash is on a very short leash for me right now. That's on a really short leash for me. It's been on a short leash for a while. I liked and I'll be honest, I don't know if you saw the Flash premiere. Well, no, I'm talking about. You haven't seen the Flash premiere because you didn't see the second episode of Superman, the Superman and Lois thing. But the Flash premiere was before Superman and Lois, and I guess the only thing I can say is, if I've heard some stories that, they're kind of changing out some of who his, cast of characters are as part of the show. Like, I don't know how much we're going to see Cisco and Caitlin this year. I know we pretty much lost Wells. Okay. Like, he's done. What's his name who plays Wells? I think he's pretty much going to be gone, and I'll leave it there and try not to spoil anything, but he's leaving. So, they're starting to introduce new kind of team members, and that's nice, but there's a part of me where I'm like, if you're going to introduce new team members, it'd be kind of nice if when you did it, you actually kind of had old team members and kind of interspersed. Now, in fairness, they lost the guy who was playing on Elongated Man, Ralph Dibny, because of some, I can't remember what exactly it was, but some sort of, I don't want to call it cancel culture, but he did something that basically it was like, nope, you don't get to be on the show. So I know you don't get to be on the show anymore. And so as a result, it's interesting because we're not going to get, I'm sure that did not help things that basically we were going to have Ralph, get together with Sue, and that's his future wife. And I'm sure that was going to be part of what they did. Well, guess what? That's not going to be available or doable. But yeah, I mean, that's on a short leash for me too. I'm watching Black Lightning right now, and this is the final season.
Yeah, and you want to see that to the end, you're right?
And I'm willing to see that to the end, but I am kind of sitting here going, I get where they're going a little bit with some of the things they're doing. At the same time, I'm just like, do I care? I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure I do. It makes me very, like I said, in fairness, some of these shows are leaving. That's a show that's leaving. Based on ratings, I don't know that Batwoman's going to stay, even though it's renewed. Okay.
They renewed it for season 3?
Yeah, I think because of COVID, they were renewing things.
Huh.
But if it continued, but given the ratings it's got, I don't know that it'll stay anyway. We're losing Supergirl. And there's some other shows that they're going to bring on instead. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. And we could dovetail the Marvel here for a minute, but I don't want to yet. But, based on what Marvel's doing with Disney, it used to be, well, at least their stuff is debatably better than the stuff I'm seeing on Netflix or even the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. I don't know. That's not... I think that ship has sailed.
Well, we're still on DC. Well, what was this? What happened that they accidentally put out just the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, I was going to do this for News to the Squared, but we can talk about it here.
Yeah, we can still talk about News to the Squared.
Yeah, so apparently there was an error that if you opened up Tom and Jerry, you got the first hour of Justice League.
Oh, okay.
You got the first hour of Justice League. Apparently was an error. Which makes me wonder if it was really an error or if they wanted to say did that on purpose to get buzz, and because like the person who mentions it's like, oh, I got something much more amazing, and I'm like, okay. I love how the word amazing got in there. If you know what I mean. And I'm like, So you're saying it was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm beginning to wonder
fishy.
about something. Right. I have the same reaction you do, which is it's like, why do I feel like this is a stunt to get people go,
no
oh, I saw the... Right. I saw the... this was a mistake. I saw the first hour. It's really good. And there are enough people who might have seen it when they went to go watch Tom and Jerry to go, oh, yeah, that's true, that happened.
Just like the mistake of that sizzle reel or whatever that Ryan Reynolds put out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh, yeah. Deadpool. Yeah, happy International Women's Day. While we're thinking of Deadpool.
But I thought I saw you over the weekend. You played some Ravenloft.
Yeah, we had a game night, and we played a Dungeons & Dragons board game. It's not true D&D. And, I had friends who played D&D. I didn't have the patience for it when I was a kid. But anyway, getting back to this. Yeah, it's a Dungeons & Dragons board game based on Ravenloft. It was some castle scenario where you had to get out.
Castle Ravenloft.
Yeah, Castle
right?
Ravenloft, yeah.
That's funny. I was just in a campaign that I ended up getting out of, but we're playing a campaign where they're gonna have to get into Castle Ravenloft.
And we just played like a quick adventure just to escape, get randomly generating tiles that were just squares that were stacked and randomized. So the next tile we flip over, it could be the stairs out, and it was. Excuse me. Yeah, and it was okay. It was all was just 1d20 was all we had to roll, and man, it was fun. Had a good time. Then we tried I didn't picture this, but because sometime I'll snap a picture of the board. But after we played the Castle Ravenloft, that was fun. That was okay. After we did that, we tried the World of Warcraft board game, and oh god, that was crazy. That was, and then the rules are just, I don't know, maybe just the way the rules were set up and the way the tiny little text on tiny little icons on all the tiny little cards. And I'm not getting any younger, and be a while before I got to get prescription glasses, I tell you. And yeah, it was tough to read. And like I said, the rule book was not very well written too. I had to flipping through the pages trying to find what each icon means, Yeah, it was not pleasant. Not a good experience. I don't know if we'll be playing that again, but...
Well, I mean, why would you... I guess I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's like, why would you play that as a board game that's a computer? Well,
it's an MMO. Yeah.
It's an MMO. So wait, when you're playing like the D&D, like when you're playing it as the board game, do you have like characters with hit points, or how does that work?
Yeah, there were hit points. And they had like your armor class. The villain roll a d20 and they have a bonus or whatever. And if they hit you over your armor class, you take a hit. And then you run out of hit points. Once you run out of hit points, you have what's called a healing save or something like that. Kind of like a fate point in Warhammer, where it'd be like kind of like you get like a bonus resuscitation or if you at the beginning of turn, if your hit points are 0, you get 3 of them. That would get you like you get 3 tries and you're out like 3 lives pretty much. But we all got out alive. No, it was okay. We'll try again. Maybe another time. There's a lot of games in our rotation. I let my friends buy the games, and then they bring them over. I only have a couple here of my own. But the Ravenloft was good. And although, like I said, getting back to D&D, I never had the patience as a kid to play like pencil and paper D&D. I always needed a visual aid. I preferred board games. That's like we had Advanced Hero Quest in the early 90s from Games Workshop. And that was like, yeah, it's cool. We have, modular dungeon tiles, and we got a board. You can see where all the orcs and the goblins and the Skaven are on the board, and skeletons and whatnot. So it's always it's easier to visual aid for me. And then you just got your character sheet with your stats. But just like, I didn't have the patience for storytelling and all that. And I regret, one of my friends who's no longer here, and I regret not playing D&D with him. When was the last time you played D&D?
Like I said, about 2 weeks ago.
Ah. Oh, so long ago. I was so young back then.
Well, it was funny. It's so funny you say that, because it's like, so I was in a campaign. We were supposed to play every other week. And, of course, scenarios are, ironically, that's why I was asking about Castle Ravenloft, is we literally were playing in a Ravenloft scenario campaign. And, with the power levels the way they are, it's like, okay, everybody needs to be their hands on deck. So literally at one point it took us 3 months to finally find a day to play. And then someone made a comment about, hey, can we move off that day? And the only day that everybody could accommodate, with the exception of me, was Monday night when we podcast. And I'm like, nope.
No!
I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, you guys go ahead and play. And in fairness, like, this is going to sound bad, but there was a part of me where I'm like, yeah, I wasn't feeling it as much. I'm okay with going. I've got some other things I need to be doing and working on. So,
but you hadn't played in 3 months?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even remember like my character's name after 3 months.
I remember all that stuff. I remembered all this stuff because I knew what I created.
Right.
Conversely, I've been playing Star Wars RPG almost every month.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know you've always been
the pandemic.
As long as I've known you, you've always been into that.
Yeah, as long as the pandemic. Well, the point being is during the pandemic we've been playing online. So, I mean, that's still happening. Like I'm supposed to do that next weekend, ironically. So, or not ironically, but yeah, next week I'm supposed to do some Star Wars RPG. So, yeah, that's. It just fascinates me that they made it as a board game and you can play it as a board game when it's like, okay, what do you do about stats? What do you do about guys? Can you build a campaign off of it? I don't know. I get it. It's like, okay, we're done in a few hours and we're going to go home. Thanks for playing. Versus, oh no, this game's not over because there could be all kinds of new wrinkles.
What, 3 months between campaign? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, it's like that one meme that's out there. It's like, we're gamers. What do we want? To play games. What do we want to play? Thursday. I can't play on Thursday. How about Friday? No, Friday's bad for me. How about Wednesday? It's like, Well, yeah, okay. We'll have to figure out that. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out that. And really, in reality, like none of the days are good for them. I mean, that's what it turns into sometimes with gamers.
Yeah. Or the
You know,
Infinity War meme where Doctor Strange says 14,605,000 and Tony's like, how many do all our schedules sync so we can play together? One.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes
Yeah, it's
it
tough
turns
to
into
have
that.
especially when you're in a campaign. It's like, well, that's why we have some ongoing campaigns. I think in not Spellfire, but what you call it, Pathfinder and
Hmm.
Hero Realms, which are collectible. They're not collectible games. They are deck building games that are boxed. You know, they're not like Blind Pact or anything like Magic the Gathering or anything. But those we have ongoing campaigns with, but we're constantly shifting it up. We're doing something different every game night. Instead of just trying to slog our way through one game every time we get together. It's like, all right, let's do something different. That's been our motif since we've done game night for, what has been 4 years now, I think. We've been loyal game night people. Usually every other Sunday. Sometimes we skip one or go to 3 or even a month, but we try to get together on a regular basis.
Oh, hey, I get it. I get it. Well, like I said,
Yeah.
that was one of the reasons why I was like, there's a part of me. It's like 3 months, we can't seem to figure it out, and we finally start playing again, and then immediately it's, hey, I don't think I can play this day anymore. I'm like, you know what? I can pass. I have other things I can do on that night instead, and take advantage of the time, and
Yeah.
not. And I think that was the other part that was frustrating, was I would always find out we weren't playing far later than I wanted to, and as a result, there were other possibilities open to me, whether it be storytelling or Toastmasters or something else in general, where suddenly I was like, oh, I could have gone and done that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and now I got nothing better to do. So, yeah.
But there are still gaming groups and clubs. I don't know if they're going to start reopening, like where you can meet in person. But there's always all the online ones. Those you can hopefully still have for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have them on Sunday nights, but then it was like, because that was our only day off, and we were able to start earlier. But then we were kind of restricted because we usually didn't want to drink and we had to leave earlier because we all had to get up Monday morning for work. So we switched to Saturday nights. Of course, I work Saturdays, so I'm not there until 7:00, which is cool. But it's like because none of them usually work Sundays. I know I work every other Sunday, but that don't matter to me none. But at Saturday night, it's been every other Saturday. Usually, has been a good game night scenario. Mm-hmm. So, I guess we'd start with Wanda.
Yeah, we could go there.
All right, we'll do. All right, we'll let's discuss then the WandaVision finale. This is the
WandaVision,
series finale, the one season.
Mm-hmm.
Like eat your heart out, Serenity. Only one season. Or Firefly. Mm-hmm. So, I liked it. I didn't have the feels. I know a lot of people got teared up at the end because it was a big emotional goodbye. Spoilers, by the way. If you haven't seen the finale of WandaVision, might as well fast forward about 10 minutes. It was a big emotional goodbye. They had the goodbye they wanted. The farewell they wanted. Maybe it was goodbye, but not farewell, because this is, Marvel. So, the shortest way, and then this is sci-fi in general. If you want to come back, just die. That way, a certain way to come back.
Yikes.
So, yeah, and it comes to, we'll get into the other point, but I liked it as a single entity. I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is dumb. I know that most people from my feed seem to enjoy it. I know a couple of my Facebook friends were like, it was all trash, hated it, it was dumb, all the sitcom shit. And people were like, no, wait till episode 4. And it's like, yeah, I did, and then still trash. So some people are just hell bent on not liking it anyway. So
yeah,
but I enjoyed it, and it was a good arc for Wanda. And I think what we can, then it comes to the point of this is what we get versus our weekly expectations of what happens, what's going to happen, and that doesn't get fulfilled, and it changes our perception. Like, we had a year to think about how the events of Endgame came about. And I know some of us were not as pleased with the result of Endgame, but I think we'd all agree that Infinity War was a better film. But Endgame, did not meet a lot of people's expectations, and it met mine. I enjoyed it. But with WandaVision, it was good. I liked it. There were some things I would have liked to have seen, but that's all, again, it's about what I wanted versus what I got. And I liked what I got. So I'd say I'd give it 3.5 out of 5 yeah-mans. Didn't hate it.
I think they spent too much time trying to push that final...
Oh, the final battle?
I think that final episode was really, at times, I felt like they could have handled that betterly.
I would like to see more Monica and see what more of her powers have been revealed.
Well, that, and it's like, where's Vision these days now? Who knows?
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
So okay, we got the real Vision, which they've turned into. They gave him a fresh coat of primer, and they flew him out there, and now we know that this Vision that Wanda created was along with her kids. They were incapable of existing outside the hex, and when she started to break the hex to get everyone out, the Vision and the kids started to crumble, just like how Vision, as he tried to escape. And I think it was episode 5 or 6. So, the new Vision. I like that confrontation with the old Vision versus the new Vision. And the trying to outsmart each other, whatever it was. Well, his Vision explained to him. And so now the Vision has, he has the sum of the vision of original Vision's memories, but he's still just like an amalgamation of the parts of the person he once was. And the whole summary of Wanda saying goodbye, about especially at the end when the walls are closing in, and they're running out of time, and as I realized that they were saying goodnight to their kids, and they were saying goodbye, and that was kind of sad. It was kind of sad. And then, like Vision says, "What am I?" And she says, "Mostly you're my love," and that was pretty cool. And like I said, I didn't get all blubbery in it like at the end of some of these Marvel films. But this was still a good arc for her, and it's a good way to introduce like pure magic and not just like, energies from the Infinity Stone. I mean, that's pretty much how what we've focused on, and now we've gotten with Guardians and Ragnarok. We've gone true cosmic Marvel, and now with this, we can introduce like regular like magic into Marvel. So it's a good segue into what we've come to get used to of just the supernatural. And they did, of course. Then Agatha did name drop Doctor Strange, but we never got Doctor Strange. And that was another kind of a bummer, but like I said, it's what we got versus what we expected. So I said 3.5 out of 5. What would you rate it?
Yeah, I think I might go about. I think I might go about B plus.
Okay.
I.
So that's 4 or 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5. I'd probably go 3.5 on it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
Just, I guess here's my headache, which is you open up with the whole sitcom genre, and that's fine. I didn't have a problem with it as much as other people did, and I was willing to sit down and watch the story and see how things unfold. Okay? Then, after that, you start to give us, during all that, you start to kind of give us some outlying cast members that you got creative with, but yet they were good choices, like Darcy Lewis and Jimmy Woo. Okay,
yeah, that's great.
Those are solid characters, and now I'm invested. I liked those characters before. Now I'm interested. So you've got them, you've got Monica, and you've got what's going on with Wanda and Vision. Okay, and then suddenly, an episode after that, okay, you're getting Pietro, except it's not our Pietro. It's Pietro who looks like the Days of Future Past, but the most recently X-Men Pietro.
Yeah,
and once you do that, you've sort of started to set the reputation about that you're going to see more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he is like, oh, this will be a cool cameo to have this actor back, and everyone was all like, oh my god, crossover, and it wasn't.
Right. Well, and I think, and it's funny, I hear certain people who I talk to on a regular basis ringing in my brain right now going, you are trying to tell the story that you wanted. This is not their story. And it's like, I get it. And I understand that. And what they did was fair. At the same time, you decided to open up a door and ring a bell. And frankly, I don't see how and there's a part of me where I'm like, no, it's time for it to be unrung. Or it's time for you to ring the bell and find out, and it's dinner time, and to figure out how that all's going to work.
And this is all yours now. This is in your sandbox now. You've got the Fox X-Men films and characters, and you do this, and he's not Pietro. He's not another Quicksilver. He's Mr. Boner.
Yeah. Well, the point being, and he's fine where he's at. It's just, like I said, it's the, okay, now you're building, you've given us some established characters within the Marvel Universe that people enjoy. Okay. You've given us somebody who you've given us Pietro, and it looks like you might be opening a door to an entire other, Earth or multiverse or whatever. Okay, by adding him, and then it's like, nope, no, it's not. That's not what we were doing at all. And now it's okay. I have to enjoy the story as is, knowing that we're not going to get any guests.
Yeah.
Or it's going to grow, and that's where it's like, it's frustrating.
Yeah. And I presume you sat through both post-credit scenes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, some people didn't, I know.
And that's the other thing too, is it's like, okay, you gave me 2 post-credit scenes, and I get what they're trying to do, which is they're trying to show that she's going to learn quite a bit about how to use her powers and chaos magic, and I'm sure there's somebody going, oh yeah, this is going to open up the House of M. That's possible, but right now, she's got a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn before that happens.
Right.
And there's a lot to see. Just like, are we going to see any more Vision? I'd like to believe so.
Well, we'll see.
Well, and that's again, this is, you do stuff like this and you set people's expectations. I mean, like, if you look at like storyline arcs for some of the other characters that you established in the show, like Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis, they kind of fizzle out in the end. And they kind of disappear. Same with Monica.
Well, we know Monica's going to space, and that's probably going to tie into Captain Marvel, too, I presume.
Right, but the point being is,
it's still world building. And there's interesting things going on that we all want more of. Mm-hmm. And we don't know when we're going to get it again. And meanwhile, in 2 weeks, we get a premiere of Falcon Winter Soldier, and they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
So we don't know if this is all going to... It probably most likely won't tie in directly. We might see like a post-credit scene here and there where they might have somebody show up.
Well, I know that it's already out there that supposedly Don Cheadle's going to show up as War Machine.
Yeah.
In the show.
Yeah, and then they teased that Armor Wars. I think that's one of the Marvel shows that's coming, so.
Right. And it's possible we might see some of these guys in Armor Wars, too. Mm-hmm. But, it's... Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those where I'm like, you open some doors, you got people really, really excited, then you kind of close those doors. And then P.S. Not only did you close the doors, we can't find some of the key players in what you're doing right
Well, and all we can do is wait for the next thing and hope it all ties in, and hope we enjoy it. And most likely we will. I mean, we've rarely had a stinker in the entirety of the MCU. There've been a couple that were like lackluster, but I never watched more than one episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they show, the whole Mandalorian formula where they can drop an episode every week and it becomes must-see television and they can stretch it out. And now once Falcon Winter Soldier is over, what's next? What's the next one? The Loki series comes after that. And we'll see some cosmic shit, which might tie into Love and Thunder or Guardians.
Could.
I'm looking forward to it. But I'm not. I wasn't jumping up and down for WandaVision. I did like where they went with some things, and I had a relative of mine who has emotional issues, and he related directly with Wanda, especially towards the end. She's grieving. And that's what apparently that in retrospect, that's what all the commercials were just manifestations of her grief.
Apparently so. Yeah. Well, we think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The first episode. Well, the first commercial from the first episode was the Stark toaster with the blinking red light, which was supposedly the rocket that they had to watch for 2 days as they sat trapped under the rubble. She and her brother. So.
Well, I think the most interesting thing about when they go back and do the origin story is
the recap or whatever when Agatha walks her through her life.
Yeah, with the Agatha thing. Is they make it seem like she always had powers. And it's just basically when combined with the Mind Stone,
it triggered.
It triggered them and it took it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And here's the reason I'm going back to this, which is if that's true, that she had power all along, okay, without
she's the only one who didn't die who came in contact with the Mind Stone in that Hydra base. She and her brother.
Right. But the point being is, if both of them had that from the get-go without the Mind Stone and without the Tesseract and whatever was done with them, to them, it does open a door to, well, how did they get those powers? Who might really be their parents?
Some kind of genetic situation.
Well, or who is their father?
Ooh, yeah. It's the future, Charles. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's the future, Charles, but I'll probably be too old to be
They wish to cure us, but I say we are the cure. Bilbo Baggins. Okay.
Yeah. You shall not pass.
Oops, wrong franchise.
WandaVision, you shall not pass.
Now, WandaVision passed for me, so I don't know if I'll go back and watch it again. Except it was all right. Didn't hate it. So
yeah, I think there's the answer to the question. When I go there's MCU movies that I've been like, oh yeah, I would go back and watch that. Oh yeah, I go back and watch that. I don't know that I care enough about WandaVision to go back and watch WandaVision.
Well, I know how it played out. Maybe maybe like 1 or 2 episodes I might go back and rewatch just for cool parts.
But if you were just sitting around, you're like, hey, I want to watch some MCU stuff.
No, I don't think I'd put on WandaVision. It's a one and done situation. It's cool, but it's I don't know if I'd. Like I said, 2 years ago, I was rewatching the MCU, and this looks like this would play right after Endgame, before. That's
without question. As a matter of fact, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, so it's very, very clear that this plays out after Endgame, before Far From Home.
Yeah,
begs the question: where does Where's Captain America? Where's this Winter Soldier thing with Falcon playing?
Right. Is it
You know?
happening at the same time? We'll find out. Yeah, I'm looking
Well,
forward to
obviously,
Falcon Winter Soldier.
right obviously after Endgame, don't know after that how far, how any of that.
Yeah.
Um,
That's still how they've built Sword, and if however Falcon Winter Soldier plays into Sword, if they're working with them or if they're working on their own or just doing some house cleaning, because now that the snap's done and all these people have showed up, and now we got twice as many people to keep an eye on now.
Well, it looks like they're going to play off of a storyline that, I'll be honest, how do I put this? To this day, I still don't fully understand how that worked. Which is, and one of these days maybe I need to go back and reread it, where basically, essentially, they reassigned Captain America and took his shield and his costume away from him and created a new Captain America of sorts. And it's like, okay. I didn't realize that the United States government have ownership of all that, but okay. And it sounds like they're going that direction a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. Any other news? Yeah, I guess there was some related stories. I guess by the time I watched Friday morning, Disney Plus was up and running. But apparently early, it was like 2, whatever, dropped like 2, 3 in the morning. Some people, especially like in Britain, where it's already daylight and it already dropped, and some parts of the country, some people stayed up late, especially on the West Coast. Some people stayed up. I think it was like 2 or 3 o'clock our time, which would have been like midnight Pacific time. Some people tried to watch it, and it crashed Disney Plus. And I don't think that happened at all for the Mandalorian finale, did it? Do we have?
I don't know.
I don't remember seeing any stories about the Mandalorian season 2 finale crashing Disney Plus. No, but yeah, that happened, and now everyone's fan theories are gone to shit.
Yeah.
So let's see, what else do we have?
Just taste the soup.
Okay, we'll taste the soup. We will discuss the sequel, the long-awaited sequel to Coming to America, starring Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall as multiple people in makeup. So,
and Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy again. Produced by Eddie Murphy. The toilet paper is from Eddie Murphy. Catering bought by Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy Productions. I saw that. He had his own production company. So, okay. So,
have you ever seen what's the name of that movie? What's the one with him and Richard Pryor and Red Fox?
Harlem Nights?
Harlem Nights. Yeah. Have you ever seen the credits at the beginning of Harlem Nights?
No.
Where literally it's like, this Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
This by Eddie Murphy. That by Eddie Murphy. It's like, licked your balls by Eddie Murphy. I mean, seriously. I mean, I think they named off one other person once. One other person named at all. But everything else was Eddie Murphy. I'm like, okay.
So I got a free month of Amazon strictly for this one event, and I'm glad I didn't see it in the theater.
Yep.
It was. I was hoping it would be funnier, but it got a couple chuckles out of me. There's one scene. I think the most either Wesley Snipes. He was eating up the camera. If it was between Wesley Snipes and there's one scene where Eddie Murphy gives his son a look, and I laughed. I think that was probably the best, the biggest laugh I got out of this film was just when his son looks at something, he looks back at his dad, and Eddie Murphy gives him a look, and it's probably the biggest laugh I got out of this film, which is unfortunate because there were a couple of funny scenes in the trailer when they wound up in the film, and obviously because they're in the trailer, but it's like, you don't put all of your best bits in the trailer, and they didn't. So we did get some good laughs out of it. And there's some, because obviously this is a suspension of disbelief, it's just a comedy. But at the end, where things are happening in Queens at the same time they're happening in Zamunda, it's like, it's impossible for these two places to be at daylight in the same time in the same place. Because they're both daylight. Like, no, one is nighttime at this time because of the rotation of the Earth. And I'm like, okay, it's just a movie, Mike. Chill out. I'm like, okay. I had to just kind of calm myself down because of basic science. But that don't matter none. Mm-hmm. It was... Yeah, to say the first one was better is an understatement. The first one was way better. Maybe just the R rating. Maybe that was part of it. And of course, this as a sequel, this one relied heavily, with a capital H, on the first one. All the gags, and it was great to see some of the characters back again. But there's there to do the motions, say the lines, and same gags as we saw before, mixed in with brief amounts of flashbacks. But I tell you, it was just okay. I was a couple times I'm looking at what time it is, and that's unfortunate for an Eddie Murphy comedy, because when Dolomite Is My Name was fantastic, it was funny, that was great, and that captured my attention. This one did not capture my attention. It was just okay. And for a comedy, it just wasn't as funny as I'd hoped. So sorry to say, 3 out of 5 yeah-mans for Coming to America. If you can see it for free, thumbs up. Otherwise, don't bother. Don't pay to see this. Mm-hmm. But as I said, expectations versus reality. Dolomite Is My Name, and the first Coming to America... There's, arguably, some people would say, was it Church? I think was the name of the film. Eddie Murphy, Mr. Church. A great performance by Eddie Murphy. But arguably one of Eddie Murphy's funniest films. Maybe his best film might have been 48 Hours. Or maybe one of the Beverly Hills Cop films. I hear that's coming back too. They're doing a sequel to the Beverly Hills Cop 4 is coming. Yeah, to be honest, did not meet. So what did you think of the sequel, Jeff?
Yeah, no, like I said, it was good for what it was. I thought that there were a couple jokes that were good. I thought a lot of stuff was I thought the Tracy Morgan stuff and all of that was a little hokey, and I've noticed that some of my friends of color are not thrilled with that portrayal, or were not thrilled with it on a certain level as a whole in terms of that. I thought that if you haven't seen Coming to America in a while, then you're going to need to watch it, because you're going to need the primer, because there's a learning curve that you don't have.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like I said, it relies heavily just as far as characters and jokes from the first film that this one relies heavily on. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Not to say it didn't have heart. It did come together a little bit in the third act at the end where, like, okay, he realizes his wrongs, the hero realizes his wrong, and he makes things right, and they have a big party at the end, and yeah, it wasn't, it had, I was obviously just, for a sequel, it took this long to make. Yeah, it could have been a lot better, but I'm not saying it sucked. It did not suck, but I'm just not saying, like, it was just, meh. What would you give it out of 5?
Yeah, I'd give it 3 out of 5.
3? Yeah, 3 out of 5. Okay, that's fair.
I think I'd go 3 out of 5. I mean, it was entertaining for what it was. Would I watch it again? No, probably not.
Yeah, unless I was sitting with someone who wanted to see it, then I'd sit and watch it. But yeah, I don't think I'd go back to see it again. I'd rather much rather go back to see the first one and appreciate what we had. We had, there's great, some forced flashback scenes, and there was some good. I don't know if it was like CGI or a body double or something, because there were some flashback scenes that did not happen in the first film. And young Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, I'm not sure if they were added, if they were CG, de-aging, like they did with Sam Jackson and Captain Marvel, or other films we've seen with Kurt Russell in Guardians 2. I don't know if it was some of that, or if it was just body doubles in the right angle, showing young Akeem. But, well. So, well. But if it's on Amazon, so check it out if you want to, but meh.
Yeah, I just feel like it's like, okay, any day now. And then they put something up, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Is what it is.
But Wesley Snipes had a couple. Some of it was like borderline cringe. Some of the jokes, but there were a couple of times when Wesley Snipes would just do something or say something that was genuinely funny. And then at the end, they had Eddie Murphy's character, his singer character, come out, and there was the famous one that was the famous character that he did for Rick James when they got together and they met for a week, and then he recorded Party All the Time with Rick James in the studio. He was constantly cracking jokes, and because I only remember watching it because of the Tales from the Tour Bus from season 2, where they talked about the two-parter for Rick James, where he and Eddie Murphy hung out, and he always cracking up Rick with his impressions, especially his singer from Coming to America.
Sexual chocolate.
Yeah, and what was it? Oh, the other one. Obviously, the barbershop guys. The Arsenio guy who constantly got a Chinette plate of food, and of course the old Jewish guy, and the old preacher that Arsenio was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the characters, they're good, but say it's not enough to hold the whole film. Yeah, but it's just all right. So I don't know if they're gonna. They're probably not gonna do a 3. Let's hope not. I think in later rest. And there was some wasted potential with the Zamundan McDowells. Mm-hmm. They could have done some more stuff with that, but unfortunately they did not.
Yeah.
So a little bit of wasted potential, but I'm still not totally disappointed. It's just like, for a comedy, I didn't laugh much. Sad to say. So what other news we got? Let's see. There's another. Let me save that for news of the squared. I guess we can point it out. Seeing as we're the dovetail out of these Coming to America. Apparently, the Palace. This I did not know because you posted this article from Variety on the Squares page. The Zamundan Palace that was shown is rapper Rick Ross's real life house from the outskirts of Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's like much of the Zamundan setting was recreated in Georgia with the police. I remember I think where they filmed some of scenes. Obviously, they shoot The Walking Dead there. But apparently, there's where do we find a house that had the scale and possibilities of a very lavish place? And they used the 45,000 square foot mansion in Fayetteville, Georgia. It sits on 235 acres from the previously owned by the boxer Evander Holyfield. 12 bedrooms, a dining room that seats up to 100 people. Sounds like they did a lot of the filming inside this. Maybe some of the interior shots from Zamunda were in this mansion. Yeah,
no, like I said, it's crazy with all this stuff, and it's like, how did Rick Ross amass that amount of money to live in that place of all places? I mean, I know it's all about the bling, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, they changed the wallpaper. Yeah, it looks like they did some of the interior shots. The rapper says in 1980 it's Come to America, maybe his all-time favorite movie, and that he was chuffed to see Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall walking through his estate. They changed the wallpaper in the dining room, so I asked them to keep it up there. He laughs. They also created that huge dining room table for a dining scene that seats 50 to 60 people, and they left that for me as a gift. It's humongous. So yeah, looks like they did a lot of the filming inside this mansion for Coming to America. But yeah, that looks CG. I mean, it might be some of the exterior parts of it. They might have added lions and giraffes and shit walking around outside of it. But yeah, that palace is real in Georgia. Rapper Rick Ross. So congrats to him, and he got his. Now, wouldn't that be cool, man? You see a movie as a young person, and then you make it big, and then all of a sudden they're making a sequel in your home. That's pretty cool. Gotta admit.
Yeah, if you say so.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a cool thing. It's all right. I don't know if we have anything else this week.
Fast and the Furious again delayed.
No, I'm so sad. I'm saddened by this.
Not really, but yeah.
No, I'm not. Truly, I'm not. No, actually, this is from comicbook.com. The release date of F9, not the function key, the latest installment of the Fast and Furious franchise has been delayed a third time by Universal Pictures after losing its original May 2020 and rescheduled April 2021 release due to the COVID-19 pandemic. F9 was supposed to hit theaters on Memorial Day of this year. With the third delay, F9 is now slated to arrive in theaters on June 25th. The movie is indicative of Hollywood's latest attempts to predict when the pandemic may subside enough for fans to get back into theaters. So F9, the Fast at the hashtag or at the Fast Saga, put out a little video for June 25th with a race. It was like a car with racing straps with a cloud of smoke and a dirt trail and a helicopter in chase. June 25th, F9, the Fast Saga. Apparently. So yeah, I know that if they still. Did they still predict? That's right. We still get Black Widow next month, right? Or did that get delayed again?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that now. I don't know. I'm not sure anymore.
Wait a minute. Let me check here. Black Widow. Now, it's still set for a release date, according to IMDb. It's still set for a release date of May 7th.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have gone the Mulan route. Put it on Disney Plus. They don't want to, but apparently it was another article I saw that Warner Brothers saved like hundreds of millions of dollars by putting Wonder Woman 84 on HBO Max. They saved a ton of money because of all the theater promotion and having to invest in putting it in theaters, and we didn't know. And turns out it would have been bad for the theater. They did the right thing by putting it in the theater. Because, well, let's be honest, it was unexceptional. In a lot of ways. I know a lot of people liked it. I just like the first one better. And it's sad to say. That sounds like that's a recurring theme. I think that'll be our theme this week, is I like the first one better.
Sad to say, on my way, won't be back for another day.
Yeah, so Fast and Furious 9, oh darn, sorry. I saw 2 of those films, and I'm like, I feel like I've seen 10 of them. So, seeing as we're getting a 9th one, I'm like, okay. Yeah, not for me.
Yeah.
It's like exploding cars and chases and Vin Diesel going, family. No, I'm done.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else off the top of my head. I feel like there's something we're missing that...
Yeah, I suppose, and I guess we can wrap it up then. I guess we had a short week. A short week is better than no week.
Well, yeah, I mean, the only other thing is, let's see, what I did. Yeah, well, no, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like talking about contest stuff.
Well, you didn't. It wasn't you did get didn't you get some consolation or something?
Well, I won the other one. I didn't win my journey to the World Championship is over for the year. So, yeah, I feel like the Cubs. Next year is here. Next year is here. Next year is here. Next year is never.
I think I saw the Cubs won today.
Ah, go Cubs, go. So, I think, we could probably end this one early. I feel like we got through a lot. I'm sorry. I did see House of Cards.
Oh, that's right, because you have, that's right. It's still on Netflix, right?
Yes, it is. And I watched the first 3 episodes. Apparently Frank Underwood has stolen Zach Morris's power for the forces of evil. Because he can break the fourth wall and talk to you.
Yes, that and
I'm like,
Wade Wilson.
Yes, but Wade Wilson isn't for the powers of evil versus like Kevin Spacey.
That's right.
And like Frank Underwood, he's got the Zach Morris power. And like, that's eerie because it's like, okay, he's not a good dude. But it's solidly done. It's well played for the first 3 episodes. I get where people thought it was really good, and I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it and checking it out. So far, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. Oh, I did see another movie with Amy Poehler. God, I'm trying to remember who else was in it. There were quite a few people. Clark Gregg was in it. I'm trying to remember who else. It's a movie called Moxie, and it's about a girl who creates like a newsletter kind of thing to fight patriarchal society. But it was a lot more lighthearted. It was like a high school kind of thing, and it was interesting. It was worthwhile. And I don't know if I'd give it 3 out of 5 yeah bands.
Okay, what was that on Amazon?
No, that's on Netflix too.
Okay, have you do have a month of Amazon here this month?
I've got Amazon for the year.
Okay. Oh, well then, all right. Because like I said, I've just got Amazon this month, so.
Actually, that's funny. What you should do, since you've got it for the month, definitely watch both seasons of The Boys.
Yeah, I've been told that I should watch The Boys.
Or go check out The Expanse. But that's 5 seasons.
The Expanse is on Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Including the new seasons 4 and 5.
That
we're not. So The Expanse is really good. I enjoy it a lot. Mrs. Maisel is very, very good, but I don't think that's your speed. But it's a comedy, and I love it. It's very funny. Trying to think what else. There's a few other things I need to get to on Amazon. I have not gotten around to it. But yeah, those were the big ones off the top. Were those?
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah, no, you got a month.
Yeah, I got a month.
Get to it.
I suppose. So I can do something.
Oh, Borat. And Borat's on the second Borat
on
film is on
there. Okay.
Yeah, the second Borat movie is on Amazon.
Is the first one in there too? Or just the second?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'll have to go check it out. You do anything this weekend? Got any Star Wars gaming or public speaking this weekend?
I have. I probably will hang out on Clubhouse over the weekend.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't have anything. Well, in fairness, by the time this airs, I am doing a Clubhouse room Thursday afternoon at 4 Central Time on how to tell stories with promotional products. And, obviously it's more about my day job. I am working on something, though, that I'm looking at for a second room that I can't talk about yet, but I'm really excited about it. And I have a feeling that I'll be able to talk a little bit about it on the show in the future.
Okay. Secret project.
But for the purposes of Clubhouse, and I'm looking forward to it. But, yeah. So if people want to find out more information, how do they find us? Mike?
We are on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. On YouTube, click the bell, subscribe, to get new content. This show can be downloaded onto your usual podcast hosting platforms, i.e. Google, Apple, Spotify, Anchor. You can, of course, follow us on Facebook, the Squares Roundtable Facebook page, and you can all the other wacky news from our side hustle, News of the Squared. That's also up there, too. Follow along. Read along with us. Ivan, shout out to Ivan. Hope you're feeling better. Ivan! He's on twitch.tv at Java and Ivan. Jeff is on Clubhouse. He's on the Facebook and YouTube, and Instagram and Twitter at Steinamite Productions. And, of course, I'll be watching the South Park vaccination special this Wednesday. So I'll be watching that. So, yeah, shout out to me and Ivan, 25 years of radio.
Shout out to Ivan.
Hey. Ivan. So, but again, that'll do. So I appreciate y'all listening, and I hope you come back next time. And don't forget to wash your hands and wear your mask. Damn it! Please wear the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep this going a little bit. Let's wait till we get a few more people vaccinated. So be well, take care, stay safe, and be excellent to each other. And see you next time.